Hit record, share screen, and away we go. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here. I'm so excited. I love this one. I am Carrie Severson. I am your Soulful Storyteller Facebook group host. This is called Why Your Gratitude Journal Isn't Working and How to Change It. So first of all, who am I to be sharing all this awesome jazz? I'm a professional writer. I'm a storyteller trainer. I call myself a soul story healer because I'm an intuitive and I feel the energy of story. I'm a two-time business owner. So let me start with my writing. I have a degree in journalism. I started writing for magazines and newspapers when I was 19. Those of you who don't know me know my history. I was bullied as a kid. I had low self-esteem as a kid. And as a result, I overdosed as a child. I was severely depressed. And I used the power of my own journal to really pull me out of that dark space fairly early in life. So I was 16, made a really bad decision, and had to climb my way out of it into my early 20s. I went into journalism because I wanted to change the way women treated women, girls treated girls, and ultimately feel like I've made some great headway and success with that. But I started writing for my college newspaper when I was 19 and have been published probably close to 1,000 times since. Currently, I write for Redbook, Mind Body Green, She Knows, and I'm what you call a personal essayist. So I write about really personal experiences. I believe in this power of story. I believe in the power of your story. I believe in the power of my story. I think story is what is ultimately going to heal this place we all share because it gives us an opportunity to understand each other better and learn from each other. When I was working at I was about 25, 26. I was working at an advertising agency at the time. I went from being somebody who wrote the story to somebody who pitched the story. And I was working on these huge campaigns, multi-billion-dollar campaigns, and I realized I was so far away from my sole purpose of healing this place through story. So I ended up launching a nonprofit in 2011 called Severson Sisters, and it helps girls essentially relate better to one another. We teach them how to have healthy relationships, how to communicate effectively, and we created a series of workbooks called the Supergirl Guidebooks. This is one of them. It's on peer pressure, and these are sold nationally, but it gives girls confidence skills, and at the back of every book, we have a journal. So this is one of the ways where I feel like I've made an impact through story. My second business is a storytelling business. I do that pretty much full time now. My soul clients are women who have a desire to share their story and don't know how. So I work with women around the world who know their story, know their value, and have trouble articulating it, have trouble finding it, don't have clarity on it, don't know how to tell it, where to tell it to. I help craft and create powerful stories with them, and we go out and we get them published. When I'm working with a client, first of all here, let me say this little picture here of me on the front cover of the Phoenix Business Journal. The title or headline here is Battling Bullies with Stories. It really talks about both businesses and how my nonprofit and my storytelling business merged, and the premise of it is to really heal people through story. So when I'm working with a client, this is really about my intuitive piece right here. I talk about the energy of storytelling. So I talk about story a little bit differently than most people. I personally feel the energy of story. So when I'm working with somebody, I can tell when they're hiding behind a story. I can tell when we're not focusing on the right story. I can tell when there still needs to be some healing in the story. And in my personal opinion, every experience we have could ultimately be a new story. And so oftentimes we think of our story being this long, drawn out 20-year thing, when in fact, we could ultimately have several different pieces, several different experiences, stories within our whole lifetime. So I really like helping people heal in their story and then find the right words to share it. So that's how I work. From an intuitive perspective, what happens to me physically is I'll get like a buzzing sensation across my chest, and my eyes will start to flutter and kind of get hot. I overheat a lot, so you'll see me do this a lot because I can feel the energy. And when that happens, I know that we've landed on something good, and I want to sit in it. So sometimes that means I'm going to give out journaling exercises, which is why I decided it was time to do this webinar here around gratitude journals. So who is going to jive best with this? I'm hopeful that you're a seeker. I trust that you're already journaling. If you're a soulful seeker and you're here, chances are you are searching for something more. You could be stuck. And so I'm hoping to give you some clarity around new ways to move through it. Journaling is fantastic. I think it's a phenomenal self-development tool. It's a really great layer to add to any other component you're doing to further your self-development. So I'm hoping that there are leaders who see this, who are looking for something more in life. And then if you're already journaling, my hope is that this helps you take your work deeper. So what you're going to get here is, I've come up with 5 alternative ways for you to use your journal. But before I get to that, I just want to talk really briefly about storytelling. I think story is getting a really bad image lately because I think we're using the term story to cover everything from how we communicate to one another to what I do and what I do with my clients, helping them write and get published. So I have 2 things to say about story, really. For one, story and sale is not the same thing. So many copywriters are talking about, you've got to find the story, you've got to find what's going to hook them, what's going to make them buy, what's the story in the copy, and that's a sale. So I'm really interested in sort of going like this with story and sale because I don't think it's the same thing. And so I think so many people are afraid of storytelling because they think it has to be this sad, heavy, really hard thing. And it doesn't always have to be that way. We can find a way to create stories of harsh experiences in a light way. In fact, one of my greatest and most favorite tips an editor at Redbook gave me when I was creating something for her last year was, this is a heavy experience. We have to find the light in the heaviness. And that's the beauty of storytelling, is that our readers can go on a journey with us and we don't have to consistently keep them in the dark. We can bring them up to the light. So if you're here and you're using your journal to find story, please don't think that everything you write has to be heavy and sad and dark. The second thing I want to say about storytelling, I love story. I love the power of story. I believe in the power of story. I have 3 planets in the house of communication, so that makes me an exceptional storyteller. And I'm a speaker. So the benefits of story for me is that I believe that when we face our story and we accept our story and we lean into story, we actually heal ourselves. And when we share it, we give other people the opportunity to heal as well. When that happens and we're standing in our authentic story, we're creating connection with new people, new opportunities are going to come to us. So this is just how powerful story is, and I just wanted to share this with you guys. So my very first essay for the Huffington Post in 2014 is called I'm a Recovering Burnout. And it's true. I'll talk about that in a minute. So I wrote it, had a lot of fun with it, had no idea it was going to be as powerful or as impactful as it was. But for weeks on end, I had hundreds of people email me asking me more information. What does this mean, burnout? How did you recover from burnout? And one of those people was an organization in New York City who puts on these storytelling performance events. They gather 7 storytellers every month, and each storyteller is given 7 minutes to get up on stage and share a particular experience. Mine was called My Personal Journey to Happiness. This piece changed my life. It's recorded, it's on YouTube, you can go check it out. And that led me to launch the second business because entrepreneurs came out of the woodwork and said, can you help me do this? Had I not found the courage to share that burnout experience on Huffington Post, I don't know if I would literally be here talking to you about this today. Your story is powerful. Trust it, believe me. It will make a difference. So ways I've used my journal. I started my journal relationship the way that I think most women do, as like a Dear Diary. It was sitting in my nightstand as a kid, and every night I would literally take it out with a pen and write a letter to myself about my day. That was it. I had no idea what I was doing, but I'm sure my mom read it thousands of times. But that was it. That turned to a list of things I'm grateful for, which turned into, I call them letters to the universe. Every morning in my late 20s, I would write a letter to the universe and setting intentions for the day, which led to my forgiveness journal. I would write letters of forgiveness to people I needed to forgive, which then brought me into my journaling journey where I found my life purpose and really focus on manifesting what I have in life today. So I'm telling you this because I work my journal journey pretty hard. So here is a quick picture of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 journals. Those are probably from the first half of 2015. I go through so many journals, it's crazy. So again, it started out as a Dear Diary letter. Oprah said to start a gratitude journal when I was in college, along with the rest of the world, and so I did. I think my gratitude journal, though, only got me so far, and it led me to working with my first spiritual guru in 2008, who taught me that I could literally forgive people through my journal. I didn't physically have to have a conversation with them if it didn't feel necessary. So every day I would focus on something I had to forgive. Maybe it was a part of me. Maybe it was writing a forgiveness letter about how I felt around my body. Maybe it was a forgiveness letter to somebody. I remember writing a forgiveness letter to somebody who cut me off on the road once. I did a great amount of work in that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too. In 2010, when I realized I wasn't doing what I was meant to do with my life, excuse me, I came home, took out a journal, and wrote, what am I supposed to do with my life, at the top of a page. And that led me down finding my life purpose. I literally would ask myself questions in my journal I know I didn't know the answer to. And then finally, in 2013, when I did recover from burnout, I had to go back to my journal and do so much deep-rooted work in the pages of my journal just to find peace again. And so I wanted to share these 2 slides with you so you could see the amount of work I've done in the last 10 years with my journal and how I support people in the world on this concept of journaling and how to further your own self-development through your journal. The reason I felt so called to share this webinar right now is because I give out journaling assignments to my clients. I have an e-course all on journaling, and I believe so firmly and so strongly that as human beings, we're seekers, we're searchers, we're consistently growing, which means that our habits have to change in order to grow with us. But so oftentimes I'm hearing women, particularly women, in my business environment who have a journal, have a gratitude journal, but yet still feel unsatisfied. It was that word, unsatisfied. I really felt, okay, well, I have some tips here. Let me do some stuff here and start changing it up for you. So I think the most important stories are the ones we tell ourselves, which is your work in your journal, which is why I'm doing this today. So here we go. I have 5 tips for you. tip number 1. My dear sweet storytellers, I'm saying this with so much love and light. Please sort of be gracious with me here. I'm going to tell it like it is, though. And I remember it was 2010. I was just about to launch Severson Sisters, and I met this woman who told me I was from MSU. I had spent too much time at MSU. And I was like, what's MSU? And I said, no, I went to ASU. I went to Arizona State. And she's like, no, you're from MSU. Make stuff up university. And she said, you have head trash. You're fearful. You're not doing what you're meant to do with your life because you're afraid. That changed my life. I never met this woman before, and I still vividly see the scene. And I can remember my eyes sort of popped a little bit, and goosebumps just sort of filled my body. Make stuff up university. I had head trash. Okay, what am I supposed to do with that? I think so often we're in the entrepreneurial world, so many beautiful coaches are out here talking about manifestation and talking about mindset work, which is phenomenal. But we're not, and we're looking at gratitude and we're looking at abundance, but we're not mirroring it to the pieces from our past, which keep us stuck in our present. So those stories that you know in your heart are old patterns that no longer serve you. Unless we go back and we actually address them and we heal them and we release them, they're not going to allow what we're hoping to manifest to come into our life, because it literally blocks it. So here is tip number 1 for you. In order for you to really dig in deeper, we have to go back to the roots here. We have to address the head trash story. So don't just use your journal to write a list of 5 things you're grateful for. Use your journal to get to the deep work here. So you have health, you have fitness, you have our friends, you've got a time element, you have family, you've got your career, you've got your work, there's love in here, there's money in here. My tip for you here is to literally use a different page of your journal for every element of your life and write your stories about each element of your life in here, where specifically you feel stuck. And then move into forgiveness. Write forgiveness letters about each area of your life here in which you feel stuck. Why do you feel stuck, first of all? And what is it within that area that you have to forgive? So you're going to start with yourself for holding on to this story. And then you're going to write forgiveness letters to whoever it is that plays a part in this head trash story relating to this element of your life. And if you guys have comments along the way, I can't see them yet, but I will in a minute. So when I get through all these slides, I'm going to go answer questions. So if you have comments, please put them in the comment section. So tip number 2 here, in order for us to change these old patterns, we've got to find where they started, and we got to dig up the roots. So gratitude, again, can only get us so far, and it can't bring in what it is we're looking to manifest unless we have the space in our life for it to actually land, which means we're digging up these old stories, we're addressing our head trash, and then we're taking it even further and we're digging up where the roots of these stories came from, which comes typically to our younger self, early teens, early 20s. So beyond writing forgiveness letters in all these areas in which we feel stuck, we really do some inner child work here. And I know so many people who love inner child work. So I started this area by writing letters to my 16-year-old self, that girl who was so scared and was desperately seeking acceptance and was searching for it in every crevice of life and couldn't find it. First of all, I wrote a ton of love letters to that girl. I had a lot of shame and a lot of guilt afterwards, so I wrote a lot of forgiveness letters to that girl. And then I started writing letters about all those things that are false that kept me in that space, worthiness and how that isn't accepted, and blocks to love and why that is no longer true. This part, though, the second element here about the root stories that sort of keep us stuck, this is where I had to do the most work. This concept of, why was I afraid to let this story go? I knew it didn't serve me. I knew that wasn't who I was. And what came forward for me on letting go of those old root stories was acceptance, was how can I stand in the light? I love that there's a light right here. How can I stand in this light and share these stories? Or how can I release all these stories? If that's who I was, that's my past. Who am I once I let all that go? So there was lots of work around my root stories and this head trash stories. So your journal isn't just a place for you to list 5 things you're grateful for every day in hopes of the gratitude will eliminate the stuff that keeps you blocked. You've got to deal with the stuff that keeps you blocked as you're raising your vibration with the gratitude and the manifestations. I see that there's a couple of comments coming in. Journaling alternative tip number 3, my dear sweet friends. Sharing is caring, right? You learned that when you were 3 years old in daycare. And when you didn't share, do you remember you got scolded for not sharing? Okay, I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and so this concept of sharing is all over the place. So the law of attraction, storytelling for me is the ultimate law of attraction, because when we're standing in our authentic story and we've healed our story and we've embraced our story and we loved on ourselves for our story, and we have the courage to share it, we set forward infinite possibilities to come back into our reality. It is when we act, it's taking our past and our present and merging it into an action. And the law of attraction states that a reaction has to happen from somewhere. So that is an act of sharing. It doesn't mean that you've got to take your journal and go out and get everything you're writing published, but it could simply just mean you're having an accountability partner in your journaling work. You're having a breakthrough and then calling a friend and say, you'll never believe what I just found in an old story I've been looking at for a decade and couldn't see through. It is simply just you literally taking action one step beyond what you've created in your journal and putting it out in the world somehow, some way. I think so often, this is what my pattern was, and I'm just going to keep coming back to my pattern and how I broke through all this. So tell me if you can relate to this. When I was in these lows, particularly when I was in burnout and couldn't recognize it as burnout, I would list these things, ask for help in my journals, set intentions for the day, and then I would just literally close the book and then go about my day. It was almost as if I did the work and moved on. I wasn't digging, I wasn't searching, I wasn't clearing, I wasn't healing, I wasn't releasing, I was simply just writing. I was doing what I was told to do without actually digging in deeper to do the work. So even if I acted, it wasn't from the space of, it wasn't from an energy perspective that could actually do anything for me. So action is important, but it's from the state of your healing experience that the action is really most powerful. I hope that hits you. When I'm in front of a group a lot and I speak a lot to women's groups around the country, I talk about storytelling being an energy, right? I'm an intuitive, so I'm gonna match that in my own speak, my own language. I talk a lot about this right here. The scarier the story for you to step into, the bigger the impact it's gonna have on you and on people you share it with. That is the same here in our journaling. When you have the courage to do the work and you have the courage to dive in deeper and find your roots, deal with your head trash, and then you come up and you share, even if it's just to your closest friends and family, you put something out in motion. So my dear sweet storytellers, share. Your story is important. Heal your story in the journal, in these pages of your journal, and then have the heart to share it. Okay, I have 2 more tips for you. I hope this is going well and I hope that you are enjoying these. I hope that they're landing for you and that you're digging up some good stuff. Just to remind you, I am sending out an email afterwards with this recording. And then I'm also going to put together a little worksheet, just a 2-page worksheet for you with these tips in it. And then some work that you can do around each tip so that it's a little bit more convenient for you. All right, so you guys, I'm a wordsmith, right? Words are my superpower. I'm a storyteller trainer. I'm an editor, I'm a writer. I can't tell you how irritated I get when I see these really powerful, phenomenal leaders in the world running these challenges and running these phenomenal group programs when they're asking people to visualize their life and what they want in their life, and then write what they want in life. Write out what desires you're looking to manifest in your life. What is it you really need in life? What is it you really wish? These 4 words, want, need, desire, wish, make my skin crawl. When I was recovering from burnout, one of the aha moments I had in my journal, I went through all of my old journals when I was, it was 2013 when I was recovering from burnout. I took like 6 or 7 journals and I went through and I started highlighting. I can't tell you how many times I found the word want. I want more help. I need more money. I want more time. And it was in that moment I had an aha when I realized the reason all those elements I was listing, want, need, desire, or wish, the reason they never came is because they literally could not come. I could not receive them because the definition of these words don't allow it. The definition of the word want means lack. The word need means want, which means lack. The word desire means really, really want, which means really, really lack. And the word wish is just a really fancy way of saying want. So all these elements, all these words mean lack. So when you're out here writing about them, declaring them, you're declaring lack, which doesn't allow you room to receive. So this is the writing wizard in me. Please be present with your words, right? Your stories are powerful, clearing, digging, dealing with old stories, but it does matter how we write them. So here are alternative solutions for you. And trust me, once you get these, you'll recognize it. It literally is like a red flag. There's a number of other words, but for the purpose of this, we're just going to focus on these 4. So from here on out, you welcome support. You welcome financial flow. You welcome more time. You welcome more help. You allow clarity in your life to happen. You allow more love to flow. You request. What do you request? You request soul clients to pop up in your email every day. And you are able to receive support. That flipped so much for you. For me, it did. It really did. Once I got these, I started running workshops just on the word want, need, and desire. I would literally go out to these entrepreneurial 30-minute lunch and learns and tell women to stop using the word want. It isn't serving you. It means lack. There's literally no room for you to receive. So writing about how you feel, if it had the word lack in it, doesn't give you the opportunity to change what it is we're really looking to change. So I'd love to hear what you guys think of that and how that hits you and how that lands with you. I've had one woman really struggle with changing something that she wanted to reframe, but it was in true resistance. And so I'm hoping that these really do land for you. All right. Before we go into questions, my final tip for you. This is sort of like the sprinkle on your cupcake. These journals right here. So when I couldn't, I will move through journals at a rapid pace. So these right here, these like 4 just spiral college That top one is one my mom made me. I was in Glamour magazine in 2012, I think. And that was my photo shoot. And then she gave me this beautiful, what makes you different is what makes you beautiful. So here's an idea for you. For all of you who are so attached to this concept of really your gratitude journal, but also recognize the fact that it's not, you're sort of plateaued on it, flip this. Try this on for size. Instead of listing out things that you're grateful for, try finding things that happen, try finding positive things that happen to you. So you had a positive conversation, which did X in your life. You had a positive discovery call, which led to being introduced to a brand new client. You had a positive date, which led to a second date. Things like that. See how the concept of being positive versus gratitude, see if that flips anything for you. I know a number of women who have a hard time finding new positive or new gratitude things every single day. And by just switching on this concept of being positive, new things have been flowing in their life. But my biggest tip for you in this concept of positive versus gratitude is your why is most important, right? We always hear that. What's your why? What's your why in business? But if I'm going to list out something about something positive that happened to me this past week is I had a playful Sunday. My family all got together at my parents' house. We carved pumpkins. I made homemade meatballs. We just had a really positive day. Why is that so important to me? Because family environment is important. Why? Because I'm loved and supported when I'm with my family. Why is it important that you're loved and supported? So that I have this foundation. Like I just kept on digging and I just kept on laying it out there. And that moved me into a very different direction. So, you have 5 tips. I'm going to send you a worksheet afterwards. And now I'm going to see how I can do this without messing it up because I'm on. Yay! Yeah. Okay. Hi, Catherine. I see you.
Hi.
Did you just join?
No, I'm on the phone.
Oh, good. Okay, so here I am. Sorry, you guys. I have a Surface Pro, and I use I'm trying to pin me so I can, oh, there I am. Huh. All right, so I see some questions. Let me go back in. Are we able to go back and reference this? Yes, Nisha, I recognize that you were on the phone, so I do want you to have it. So you'll get a worksheet and you'll get a recording of this. How do you work the reframing of words when clients are stuck in victim mode or not just believing in how powerful that change of vocabulary is? Oh my Lanta, how phenomenal is that? I love that question. Okay, so I play devil's advocate a lot. I'll do, we'll work it out where I'll say, I'll give them these lists of, okay, write out your wants, write out your needs, write out your desires. And they will. And it'll all come back down to the things that they're so worried about in life. They're so, it'll start to become apparent that they're focused on their victim mentality. So I'll give them a worksheet where literally we'll just say welcome, able, and I think I turned the word need into opportunity. And I'll have them repeat the same things, and that alone, that exercise, it's a repetitive pattern. They have to do it like 3 times a week. I think for 3 weeks I have them do it, and that alone will start to flip it. Jessica, let me know if that works. So when you take that last slide and see if that will help, just flipping it to welcome, I think it's able, and then I'll send it to you. I can't read it right now, but I'm in kind of flow, so I'm not really back into it. Okay, write it out, sweat it out, sweat it out. Oh my gosh, you should totally coin that. Please, write it out, sweat it out. Girl, I love that. Allow. Thank you, Catherine. That was the other one. Welcome, allow, and I think it's opportunity. Maria, I love the idea of turning the gratitude list into a positive list. My journaling will shift starting today. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, that was a really key thing because I plateaued on this concept of great gratitude. There's only so many things I can write what I'm grateful for. And I had to dig in deeper for it to work. So I'm glad. I hope this works. I hope this is neat and something that you guys really do love. Okay, so if there are no other questions, I want to share with you one last thing before I let you guys go. So I created this course called Journal to Happy. It's 42 days of online journaling for $40. It's usually $49, but I have it set for $40 for the rest of the week. Let me tell you how this happened. So I have e-courses where I teach people how to write. I have an e-course called Storytelling Your Way to Success, which is helping you get clear on a story, helping you move through story blocks, helping you move through fear of being seen, and then teaching you how to write soulful content. That is doing really well. I was sitting in meditation in August in my hometown in Wisconsin, helping my mom recover from hip replacement surgery. And I got this download of 42 days for $40, 42 days for $40. And I was like, that is a ton of work. What do you want me to do with that? And it's this concept, Journal to Happy. So every day for 42 days, you get a different journaling prompt from me. You get, and it's not, I'm unattached to your story, right? I'm unattached to your journey. So I'm going to ask you questions that could trigger you. I'm going to ask you questions that give you an opportunity to dig in and do the work and reframe your old stories, and without you having to think about how is it I'm going to reframe my story today? What is it I can ask myself today to help me move through this? I've done all that work for you. So every day for 42 days, you get a different journaling prompt from me. You can buy it right here at journaltohappy.com, but I'll send out the link afterwards. And actually, I'll just put it in here right in this chat box. Can I do this? Oh, I can. Look at me. I'm always learning new things on so that is there for you. You get different inspirational videos throughout the 6 weeks, and I pop in and tell you how I've moved through some of the questions that I give you. One of the questions I think you get right off the bat is, what steals your happiness? So trust me when I tell you that you're going to move some stuff with this course. And my favorite part about it is that it's online and it's only $40. So that is what I have for you. Do you guys have any questions on that? Any questions on journaling lead to a novel? Nisha I love it, Nisha. You're like laser focused on getting published. I love it. Does journaling lead to a novel, or are they two different things? I'm in the process of writing one now, a novel. Okay, so I've done these books. I've done 3 of these for girls. I have written a manuscript myself, and I'm in the process of pitching agents right now. So what can I tell you about writing the manuscript, writing the novel? It started in my journal. It's actually how I realized I had a novel in me. And this first novel is on my burnout experience. And in the novel, in my journal, and digging and finding these stories and finding these roots, I was able to actually see the chapter outlines happening. And so I think all of our writing comes together somehow, some way. If you're stuck here a lot, use the journal to move you deeper into your body, but really focus on your heart and just start pouring it out, and you'll start to see it'll shift and take focus. I use my journal a lot to outline the novel, though, that manuscript, which is where the majority of book coaches will tell you to start. So that's my 2 cents for you. But I love that you're in the Storytelling Your Way to Success course and having fun with that. Yes, I'll work them separately, but pull from the journal for ideas. Good. Good luck. Yeah, that'll be great. I'm excited to see what you produce. All right, you guys, if there's no other questions, I'm going to send you this recording and the worksheet, and I will include the link in here for Journal to Happy. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know. I'm always at Carrie@carrieseverson.com, and I play all the time in the Soulful Storyteller Facebook group. But this is my jam. I love this. I love talking about all this. So I'm super grateful for your time and energy, and I wish you the most beautiful day. Happy storytelling.